Hey everyone, it's Dave Miner here at Captain's Auction Warehouse, and we're here kind of taking a quick preview of the over 300 pinball machines assembled here in Orange County for the big auction this Saturday, October 15th. And this first set of 40 machines are all electromechanical machines from a wide variety of eras. I think you're going to enjoy this walkthrough because you're really going to see a pretty wide spectrum of pinball art as we go through this. The first game is Captain Fantastic, famous pinball machine. The second one based on the Ken Russell Tommy film. And of course it has the famous artwork in the back glass. Just a beautiful pinball machine, justly famous, definitely a great piece of art as well as a great playing machine. Dogies is one of Jerry Kelly's classic games with the angular artwork that he became very famous for. You're going to actually see his very first angular game a little bit later in this sequence. Dogies has this great western theme. The playfield carries that out with the cattle rush that's going on in the playfield. And this is actually a German game, which is cool. Rogo, Dave Christensen's game here, one of his very Viking tribute games. Great artwork in the back glass, and also, you know, the design carries out throughout the playfield as he would always do. Chicago Coin, the predecessor of Stern, Chicago Coin's Jukebox. Great kind of music theme here in one of the very last electromechanical games that was ever produced before Stern made the transition to solid state. And it's got a fun spinning disc theme to kind of reflect the records that have sort of come back into popularity now. Gottlieb's Target Alpha, the 4-player version of the El Dorado, which we're going to see in a subsequent video in this auction. For those who didn't want the Western theme, great kind of space age artwork in the back box especially, as well as on the playfield, and a different color scheme than was used in El Dorado, definitely to match that art theme. Gordon Morrison here doing a great job. Again, Orbit, Gottlieb's 4-player space-themed game. A little bit earlier than the Target Alpha. You're going to see just one of the very best space-themed back glasses here. I love this art. There's the game of skill there on the futuristic airplane, space plane, whatever you want to call it. Just a lot of great details there that kind of reflected this situation in the early 70s when we were really kind of getting into the whole aspects of the space program. Just a great looking game in terms of the theme and how it was carried out. College Queens, this is an earlier game. You can see it's got 4 players scoring, and there's the ones digits actually work. Many of you probably grew up in the era where the ones digits were always 0. But on this game, you know, the points are often worth just 1 point. So 10 points when lit meant something. So as you can see on the bumpers, otherwise those are 1-point bumpers. Just love the depiction of these girls here on the playfield. I'm not quite sure what the feelings were that the artist had there, but it's pretty amazing capturing of the theme. Gottlieb's Dancing Lady, you know, light that up. I love this too because this actually has, as you can see in the back box, the spinning ballerina, and she actually spins faster, you know, when you do various things in the game. Just an absolutely stunning pinball machine. Beautiful piece of work, and a lot of interesting things here because this playfield actually has a central feature where that spins around, and as it spins around you can actually score either the number of points on the wheel, or as you can see right now both 10x are listed, and so that's 400 points if you can hit that, which is a lot of points for a game that actually only reaches up to 1,999 in the back class. Beautiful butirates, beautiful plastics on this game as well. This is one of my favorite multiplayer Gottliebs from this era. Gottlieb's 300, one of the bowling theme games. They did it different ways. This one kicks up balls in the back box whenever you achieve certain objectives on the playfield. You can see you're mostly trying to hit that spinner when you're kind of simulating the bowling part of the game, which is a great way of capturing the theme. Beautiful Casanova. This artwork, just fantastic, and this actually kicks off one of the series we have here at this auction, which is really cool. This is actually a series of Bagatelle backbox games, and most of these are Williams games, but there's kind of a little bit of a unusual one at the end, and you're going to see that too. But this artwork, just fantastic. I love how we have the gondoliers here in Venice, and yes, as you can see, just like you'd see in Venice, play flipper skill games for fun and recreation. Yeah, I remember seeing that, don't you? Anyway, the playfield, just beautiful. They capture the theme of the Venetian, you know, sort of tourist haunts, and there, right there in the center, the gondolier. The theme is carried out onto the butyrates, and just beautiful game. All right, lovely. This is a piece of art, pinball history, Pot of Gold. This is Pot O' Gold. This is Jerry Kelly's very first sort of modernist game. By the way, any of you who have any chance to get up to the Bay Area, the Pacific Pinball Museum has a great exhibit on the pointy people art. This series of games you're seeing here has a lot of examples, or several examples of Jerry Kelly's work. This is his very first pointy people game. Pot of Gold, also a bagatelle in the back box, but just check out that diver and the shark. Just an amazing concept. Carried down into the playfield as well. You'd see echoes of this kind of, Christian Marsh did this for Sea Ray later on, but this particular game for Williams was the sort of original pointy people art game. Just amazing. Wonderful execution of the theme in the modernist style. Now you have a special treat here, because here lined up next to each other are the three variants of what most people in replay territories know as Apollo, and most people in Add-A-Ball territories know as Blast-Off. I'll talk about that in just a second. The rarest of the three games, the Lunar Shot, is the one that's unlike the others. You can see that the colors are very different. In the Apollo and the Blast-Off games, conventional colors, makes sense, kind of the sky and so forth for the rocket launching and all that. But check out the difference between these two in the Apollo and the Lunar Shot. The Apollo has those colors, and then the Lunar Shot is transformed into this sort of menacing, apocalyptic pink and purple look to it, which I think is just fantastic. You see, as we contrast the two play fields together, the difference that makes on the play field, which is just amazing to see. This Lunar Shot, made for Italy, it is said, although interestingly enough, all the, as you see, the instruction cards are fully in English, so it seems like Italy wasn't the only market that was intended for this, but that is the understanding. The Lunar Shot has the same features as all the other games, except this is a Add-A-Ball game like Blast-Off, which means that in the back box you can see balls to play, as you see in the Blast-Off game, and not the ball in play you see on the Apollo. And that's because on these Add-A-Ball games, Lunar Shot and Blast-Off, you can't make a free game because it was illegal in the territories these are sold in. You could only earn an extra ball, and that's why you get to start out with that. The Lunar Shot also has a characteristic feature as well. You can't see it, but you can only see 5 balls in play up there, but potentially you can earn more than that. The Apollo, the one that's most famous in most of the country, the same feature of the center roll-ups every time you start for the countdown: 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then once you complete the countdown at the end of the ball, the rocket is launched, and the rocket is the bagatelle in the back box. So very cool. And here is the Blast-Off. This is the Add-A-Ball version. A lot of times for home use, these Add-A-Ball games are very desirable because replays mean less, but extra balls mean more because you can keep winning extra balls, and that means you can keep building your score to be higher. And that was why you would see on the instruction, or on the scorecard, 5 balls per game minimum, because you can certainly earn more. And our last bagatelle game in the series, the Bally Gold Rush. And this has a different kind of bagatelle. Instead of visibly shooting the ball up from the side, the ball just appears to drop from the center in the bonus mine. And you get a mystery bonus depending on when it lands, 10, 100, or 10. This game, beautiful Western art game. Of course, the artwork with the lady is always a big part of these pinball machines, or almost